like to call to order this special meeting of the City of Keystone Heights. Today's date is Monday, September 26th. Ms. Rakowski is not here. Mr. Commando, would you like to call roll?
Mayor Lake.
Here.
Councilwoman Thompson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hart. Here. Councilman Brown.
Here, and the other one's coming.
The other Councilman Brown is on his way.
Thank you. Are there any public comment cards?
Sounds like the alarm's going to go off.
We're late.
Lost has been found.
Are there any public comment cards?
We have none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. We'll begin with agenda item 1, 2022-596, the second hearing for fiscal year ending 2022 to 2023, the millage rate. Is there a motion to read by short title?
So moved.
Is there? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Ordinance 2022-596, an ordinance of the City of Keystone Heights levying the ad valorem property tax millage rate for municipal purposes on all taxable property within the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023, stating the percentage by which the millage to be levied exceeds the rollback rate, providing an effective date.
This public hearing is to present the proposed budget of the City of Keystone Heights to the public for comment, questions, and review, and to make changes if desired by the City Council. The process for budget adoption is detailed precisely in Florida statutes, and we must comply with those directives. The very first order of business is to discuss the proposed millage, the rollback millage rate, and the reasons for the increase in ad valorem tax revenues. I will now turn this discussion over to our city manager to make certain we meet all required communications.
The name of the taxing authority is the City of Keystone Heights, Florida. The City Council's proposed budget for fiscal year 22-23 reflects a millage rate of 4.2901. That millage can be compared to the current millage rate, which is also 4.2901, and to the rollback millage rate, which is 4.0344. The rollback rate is a calculation which brings the same tax dollars next year as for this year, excluding new construction. I'm required by statutes to state that the percentage increase over the proposed millage compared to the rollback rate. That proposed rate is 6.34% increase over the rollback rate. The city's overall proposed budget is $2,744,288.66 and breaks down as follows. General fund at $896,888.49. The Community Redevelopment Agency at $232,874. Cemetery budget at $32,661.70. The airport budget at $1,314,386.47, and the CIP infrastructure budget at $276,478. This represents a millage increase of 0.0 mils. The budget increase proposed for this year is directly attributed to the cost increase of supplies, materials, and services. Council voted 5-0 to set the maximum millage rate at 4.2901. The budget reflects the draft budget reviewed by the Budget and Finance Committee and the Council on the August 27th, 2022 meeting. This budget was presented on September 12, 2022 at a public hearing and is now being presented for a second hearing and adoption today, September 26, 2022.
We will now open the public hearing on the proposed millage. Seeing there's no one here, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to discussion for the council. Is there any discussion? Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Is there a motion to pass the millage rate?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Agenda item 2, 2022-597, second hearing fiscal year ending 2022 through 2023 budget. Is there a motion to read by short title only?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Ordinance 2022-597, an ordinance for the purpose of adopting the final budget for the City of Keystone Heights, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023, and providing an effective date.
Public hearing? Let's open the public hearing for this agenda item. Seeing no one is here, we'll close the public hearing. Bring it back to council for comments. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns about this year's budget? Nope. Seeing none, is there a motion to pass the budget?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We're going to switch the order of business this afternoon. We are going to address Resolution 2022-09, LSE-IAN. Is there a motion to read by short title?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolution 2022-9, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, declaring a local state of emergency, adopting Executive Order 22-219, issued by the Governor of Florida, providing direction to the clerk and providing an effective date.
Any questions of Mr. Commando? Ms. Rukowski?
I move passage of the resolution.
Lynn, did you want to say anything to this?
We've been working closely with the county. All this does is lifts our purchasing policy procurement, so if we have any needs for recovery or things of that nature, that we can go ahead and piggyback off contracts without having the thresholds and being able to utilize those quickly.
It also
Utilize
allows
those
you to
resources.
evacuate if you have to.
If we have to, yes.
Okay.
I'll
And
second that.
It would be good if you could tell as many residents and citizens as you come into contact with to pay attention to the social media page. That's a good way to get information out, like, for example, the sandbags that are available. Those things are being pushed out so that as many people can get the word as possible.
I agree.
Rich, I had I saw something online today. I don't remember what page it was or what the website was, but it was on Facebook, asking about local sandbag
So
availability.
local sandbags, and it's pushed out on all of Clay County's social media. We are being asked, and rightfully so, to share the emergency management's content. So we're not having mixed signals as they're required. They're in charge of local evacuation, things of that nature. Sandbags will begin distribution tomorrow on them. It is a limit of 10 per person. You will pick them up here at City Hall, and then they will be able to fill them themselves at the cemetery if need be. Some people have an abundance of sand. They just need something to put them in. Sandbag distribution will be Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then again on Wednesday from 8 a.m. until 4 or supplies run out. Now, I say 4 tentatively because that really depends on what Ian's going to do and what happens on Wednesday. We do have a staff meeting tomorrow morning to talk about processes and procedures moving forward on what Wednesday is going to look like and through the rest of the week for recovery, what staff is going to be present, what staff will be at home on call until it's safe to come back in. So as we continue to work with our partners at the EOC and throughout Clay County, I will keep you informed, but really until it hits the Gulf and we have a better understanding on what Ian is going to do and how long he's going to hang around, the best information that we can do is make sure that you're prepared and that your loved ones are prepared. Water supplies, and if you don't feel safe in your homes or your neighbors don't feel safe in theirs, then don't wait until they're told to evacuate. They can to go ahead and find safer grounds now.
Is there a likelihood the pavilion will be used for food distribution if power goes out for any prolonged period of time?
It really depends on what we're going to see from Ian. And again, they don't have a whole lot of information until he hits the Gulf. There is a possibility that if FEMA if FEMA steps in for food distribution, then yes, the pavilion will be used.
And that will take priority over everything.
Over anything. But if we get to the point that FEMA does step in, then we've got some
Yeah.
concerns, some things that we need to address.
Yep, that's true. Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-09 LSC-EN. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We'll move to the last resolution. It's Resolution 2022-08 CEMP Plan. Is there a motion to read by short title?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Mr. Commando?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Resolution 2022-8, a resolution of the City of Keystone Heights City Council, Clay County, Florida, adopting the 2022 Clay County Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan and providing an effective date.
Are there any questions? Does anybody, Rich or Lynn, do you want to speak to this?
So we have adopted the CMP, which is the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, in the past, the details of which are in the packet, which are over 100 pages, but it gives clear direction as to our cooperation with the county. This is something that we need to pass in order to continue to work with them as far as being part of the EOC, distribution of information, and making sure that we're all on the same page to keep everyone safe.
Okay,
This is a 4-year passage, so this will last until 2026, in which we'll adopt any revisions again. Clay County has just made amendments to stay compliant with the state.
okay. You've heard the explanation. Is there a question? Are there any kind of discussions for this?
Move passage.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Seeing no nays, motion passes 5-0. That concludes the business order of the day. Is there anything else that might come before us? I did want to ask a question of Ms. Burkowski. We all got a copy of this from Jeff Miller. Is there an issue with reproducing this document for him? Or are you just showing this to us because he was asking?
This is something that he provided, that he asked that be placed into council's boxes for their information. I have not had communication with Mr. Miller regarding his request.
Well,
So we can't supply, I can't reproduce that document other than what he already has, other than if council's desire to redo it.
What document is that?
And I think
It's-
that it's only in yours.
it's a proclamation for Gary Cooper. Mr. Brown, you and I have been in those meetings. Have you talked to Jeff?
Yes. I talked to Jeff right after he dropped this off, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be a while before this ever gets off the ground, in the way of construction and stuff. But, I told him under the circumstances with the hurricane coming, it might be a few weeks before we can bring this to the council. We have a meeting next week, don't we? Why can we just put it on the agenda for next week and discuss it?
So I'm unfamiliar, is he looking for a new resolution, or what
No.
what is his end goal?
He would like, they have discussed this resolution that was done by Mayor Beam back in October 26, 1990.
Or the proclamation, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Correct.
So this is what they have. I mean, they want something nicer because, I mean, if we can take it on one of our newer ones and retype it or whatever, so it would look new, so that they can take it to, they want to put it as a plaque or something. They have some kind of new fangled
It's
thing
a
that
new
they-
monument.
It's a
Right.
new monument, but what I'm talking about is something new that they can put this proclamation in where it'll be there so people can read it. And, but they need it to look better than this. So that's all they have. And then the only thing we have is apparently on maybe the computer.
So the memorial is not going to be up for another year or so.
Yes.
So really, it would be more impactful if they're going to do rededication service at the time of, after the memorial is built.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do it in the month in which the memorial is going to be dedicated?
Maybe we could just simply redo it, call it a
Well, the
restatement of the original and have Spring Council get recognition. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, I mean, I don't.
This was the dedication that Bill did, back in 1990. They liked the wording of it. They like how it was done and presented, and they just want want it to look better so that they can take it to wherever they got to take it to get it reproduced onto the thing that they want it reproduced
So
on.
they want the same
I'll
names,
tell you
the
what.
same dates?
Yes.
So,
Councilman,
Yes.
if I can see that, let me see what I can do with that. I mean, it'll take me a little bit.
does Mr. Miller have an original copy?
No, this is it.
Oh, I know.
This is what he has?
Let me take a
Okay.
look at it.
Lynn, while we're here, do you plan on having the office remain open during the week, or just gonna kind of play it by ear?
So we will probably end up closing down and sending most of staff home Wednesday prior to the storm so that they can stay home and be with their loved ones and be safe. We will have a very minimum staff. It will include myself and then 1 or 2 members of Public Works that will be working from the inside out. Once the storm passes, then we will reopen accordingly depending on what Ian
Probably on
brings to
Friday,
us.
perhaps.
Probably more than likely on Friday, Public Works will be the first in, and then depending on roadways and really what Ian brings to
I
us.
think it's good.
How long the lights are off?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of factors that we don't know until the hurricane, and so as soon as I know that information, which unfortunately with hurricanes is kind of last minute,
I think it's gonna be.
I'll
moved.
pass that on.
Gonna be moved, the community band's gonna play for, rehearse Thursday night, I think. it's gonna be-
I don't know that will
That would
be,
not be
No,
smart.
maybe
yeah, I don't
just-
know
I
if that's a
don't
good
think
idea.
You don't
We
have.
might want to reschedule
But I
that.
think we will.
So with that being said, depending on the damage and what happens with Ian, we're hearing that we have potential for some pretty significant weather that we haven't seen since the 1960s. There might be a need to postpone, reschedule our council meeting on Monday.
Okay. And then the last question in terms of regular business, are you printing checks this week? Do you need us to sign checks?
We are probably not going to be utilizing signatures this week depending on what she's capable of getting done. So we're working with 214 forms in conjunction. Ian's kind of captured all of our happenings right now. So chances are those will be reprinted printed for next week's signatures.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Anybody have any questions, concerns? Everyone stay safe.
How are you gonna communicate with us, Lynn, through our email?
I'll send you updates via email, and then once the storm hits or there's a significant change, then I'll be calling individually.
Okay.
So
You know, gas lines were like 20 minutes this evening before I got here?
I heard that, I saw some were out of gas.
Yeah, this one here is out already.
I guess up this morning.
Did you?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Get your gas.
Nice too.
All right, if not